Welcome back. This is part 3, explaining what we did to our coach during that 18-month period of transitioning from living in a home to going full-time in the RV. Details coming up on RV Street. I'm going to begin covering in the front cab area. Joni will come behind that and she'll start voicing some of the things that was important to her. And then I'll end with some important data and stats about our coach and some things to think about when you're looking for a coach to go full-time. Okay, so let's go on inside and let's take a look at what's going on in here. So the first thing we're going to cover here is the cab area. You can see, as I mentioned earlier, the brow. You see this area right there, this dark area. We put a big 12-inch brow all the way on the windshield. And man, does that make a difference when we are driving. And you can also see that the outside shades that we have, we can see out, but you can't see in. And again, the side windows, we're both covered with film, shade film. Up here on the dash, we have our little portable oven right there. We keep that there when we are parked. When we're underway, we keep it under the booth table. But we bring it out here so we don't take up counter space in the kitchen. And this is our little oven that we cook our biscuits and pizza and whatever in. And when we're underway, this actually opens up and Joni can put her laptop, keep maps and everything inside that tray. Up here in the cabinet area, we have 3 cabinet doors. And you can see back there in the very back, that box, that's the other part of our WeBoost. So we have the antenna in the back. The cable runs to our wet bay, and then it's connected up here in the front, and I run this down the side to this area right here, this 12-volt 3-way power unit, and this is what powers the WeBoost, and we usually use that, we have that turned on the entire time we're underway to make sure that we have cell service. We also run TPMS system. We have sensors on all 6 tires on the coach and 4 sensors on the car. So we monitor all 10 tires at once. We have scan gauge 2 down here. This plugs into under the dash in the OBD2 port. And that scan gauge lets me know what the engine temperature is, the RPM, the transmission temperature, and what my actual charging to the batteries is. I just love that scan gauge. It really gives me a good diagnostic of what's happening in the engine. Other things to make note of is we have our Garmin RV770 GPS with another multi-way 12-volt charging area. This allows us while we're underway to charge our phones, our laptops, our pads, whatever. And having this one and that one in the corner over there gives us plenty of places to plug in and charge things while we're underway or when we're parked. Both captain's chairs are ultra leather, and I am so proud of these. These are 8-year-old seats. And you can see that they are absolutely in perfect shape. And the other thing that I wanted to bring to note here is in these cabinet areas, you'll notice back in this area, right in here, all back in there, and that's the front cap of the motorhome. That whole area back there is just one big, gigantic empty cavity. And in that area, the heat would just pour through. You'd be parked somewhere in the sun and you'd open up one of these doors and you could just feel the heat. So what I did is I emptied out all 3 of those bays. I took out that entire wall and I packed that all with R19 insulation. And that whole area now stays cool and we don't get all that heat coming in from the front cap. Then we have this little footstool. It also acts as a storage area. Lastly, what we did is we upgraded the fire extinguishers, I should say. Normally you have a real small one. We just bought these last year. I got one large ABC extinguisher here, and then I got a smaller one right there on that side of the door. Now Joni is going to go ahead and cover the kitchen area, what we have done here, and let her just kind of cover these things. So Joni, it's all yours.
Okay, so I am going to show you some of Joni's favorite things and some of the upgrades inside. And one of my favorite things is this little latch right here. It allows me to open the door without having to slide this back and forth all the time. That is one of my absolute favorite things. It's a little tiny piece of plastic, and it's my favorite thing. One of my other favorite things that Martin did is Martin replaced this sink. It used to have, you know, the small plastic area to two areas to wash in. I did not like it, and Martin just went in. He replaced this whole thing with a stainless steel sink plus a new faucet. Has the pull-out sprayer. I love this sink now. I discovered this, which allows me to wash and dry. I can just put all of my stuff up here and it dries. I also put my vegetables and stuff up there when I've washed them and they dry. Another thing that we did is right here in this window right here, they had those little mini blinds, and Martin and I did not like those at all. So we replaced them with these MCD shades. And this MCD shade matches the shades on the other side of the coach. So that was fabulous. But while we were doing that, we also decided to put one here on this door. So when we button it down for the night and we want some privacy, we have this one. That's a great little upgrade that I love. The great feature that I like is my spice rack. These are all my very common spices that I use right here by the stove. I just love these. They're magnetic. Just pop them on there. We have gone through over some really bumpy roads and these just stay right in place. A lot of motorhomes have some sort of pantry. Like here, there would be like a pull-out shelving unit, you know, with all the different shelves and whatnot that you could use as a pantry. We didn't have that. So in order for us to have extra storage or any kind of pantry, this is what I had to go through. I had to remove this, pick up this piece of plywood. This is a big hassle. And that's what I had to go through to get to what would be my pantry. So when we decided to go full time, Martin and a friend of ours designed and built these drawers here for my pantry area, which made my life so much easier. So Martin ordered these facings right here from Winnebago, and then we bought the rails, the boards, everything, and had these custom cabinets built. And this is now my pantry, and I absolutely love it. No more pulling up cushions and plywood for me. The tabletop. Our tabletop, the original tabletop, it weighed about 25 pounds, and it got very scratched up, and it just looked very worn. So we found this tabletop here online. It's very lightweight. This might possibly weigh 5 pounds. It matches pretty close to the original, and it still drops down into a bed. I thought I would give you a glimpse of how I store things Everything that I do, I tend to put into bins. These are all of my dried herbs and spices and whatnot. But I tend to put everything in these bins so I can just grab them, slide them out, get what I need, and put it back in. It's very neat, very organized. Things are not rolling around. Over here, all of my paper goods. It's just, there's 6 bins here. And I could really stuff them really full, but I tend not to do that. But we're very conscious of what we put on the slides, and we want to have our weight balanced on each side of the coach. And this tends to be the heavier side, so we tend to keep things light over on this side. Another thing that we have just upgraded is our love seat. This is a power love seat. It's all top grain. Originally in this motorhome, there was a 9.5 foot J couch here. It was horribly uncomfortable. We just totally didn't like it. So we ripped that out and we bought a love seat, and it lasted about 2 years because, unbeknownst to me, it was reconstituted leather. It started flaking and it looked horrible. So recently Martin and I went and bought this. It's all a top grain leather. It's power, and this is definitely one of my favorite things.
This is another reason why we bought the love seat instead of keeping the J couch. There you go. We can recline and it'll go all the way back right there in front of the TV. And let me tell you, this is a whole lot better than sitting upright in a stiff J couch. Trust me.
So after we ripped out that 9.5 foot J couch and we put in our recliners, this allowed Martin room to put in his computer workstation.
Yes, this computer station was really important to me because I still do part-time work with some clients, so I still needed my workstation. So I still have my Mac, my hard drives, my keyboard and tablet and all that. And then underneath I have my file cabinet and other accessories under there. But out of the big studio that I used to have for many, many years, it's all condensed down to about a 42-inch area. But this is where we do all of our editing of our videos, doing work for my clients and stuff like that. And so I built all this table out of birch and measured everything to where it would all fit in that nice little hole. And then I put a plastic, you can see that little plastic, this is a heavy duty plastic cover that I put over the tile so that when I have my chair rolling back and forth working in that area, it will not ruin the tile floor over time.
So because, as you know, RVs do not have a lot of storage area, so I have discovered this plate holder. It holds all of my different plates. It takes up very little room. And here is all of my cups and whatnot. And again, bins. I keep all of my plastics and whatnot in these bins. Very handy. My lids to all my pots and pans. Bins will be your friend.
If you remember, I was telling you all what I had done to the refrigerator up on the roof, blocking off all that baffle area, installing fans, the ARP unit. And so, well, that's everything I did outside. Inside, as you know, these refrigerators, we have an absorption refrigerator. We do not have a residential. So it runs on 12-volt propane or electric. Unlike a residential refrigerator who has a circulating fan, these do not. However, I found a fantastic product. It's called a smart product. It's dual fans. There's a fan here and a fan here, and it forces air down into the refrigerator. And you can actually hear it running right now. And I just love this thing. It really circulates air throughout that refrigerator. Oh, and by the way, that circulating fan by Smart Products is I think it's $100. I think it was $99.99, something like that. And it hooks right up into the light at the top of the refrigerator. Also in the kitchen area, everyone needs to be mindful that you have a propane alarm, and we replaced that again as soon as we bought it. These have a 5-year life expectancy. They are a PM item and need to be replaced every 5 years.
So while we're down here, one of the other things that Martin did is under here, every time I opened these doors, heat would rush out at me. So Martin went down in under here, and he also insulated all of this area. It keeps it much, much cooler under here. Oh, and another one of my favorite things is this right here. You take your shopping bags from the store, you stuff them down here in the top, and you can pull them out when you need them right here.
Right above the TV is our main electric control system. This is where everything, you start your generator from here, your tanks, your hot water heater, your inverter, moving the slides in and out, and storage area for maps and what have you. Okay, yeah, let's do the bathroom. So this is the half bath. We did this in the winter of 2018. We were down in RGV, and we were going to be down there for 3 months, and I'm like, you know what? I need a job to do. And I don't like this half bath. It was OEM factory. It looked boring, brown, ugly. So we did a whole video on this, on how I did it. You can just look at it right up here and watch the video on it. But I'll give you a quick overview here. And since we've done this job, we've actually added some driftwood and some seaweed and some other little things, just little knickknacks to kind of make it look different. But it's a beach scene. So we painted all the cabinets white. And like I said, you can find out all the details on how I did it and the paint and primer and all that. And then once the cabinets and everything were done, we hanged nets and some ornaments and everything in the netting. I changed all of the wallpaper, the border all the way around, because I wanted to do a beach scene. And so we did some porpoises and some signs. I covered the valance with some interesting fabric. And more fabric and rope in the corners, netting on the back wall, pictures. And I just, how about this? You gotta love this. An octopus toilet roll holder with a sign that says poop deck. You gotta love that. Come on. So there's the board that was replaced. Even a seashell toothbrush holder and a seashell in the sink. Isn't that awesome? We also changed all of the faucets, including the one that Joni showed you in the kitchen, to the new Moen stainless, the brushed nickel. We did the same thing in both bathrooms. We got rid of that factory plastic stuff and put in some really nice brushed nickel fixtures. Rope in the corners, and a custom-made seashell trash can. So that's kind of an overview of the update of our half bath. So since we just covered the kitchen, living area, and the half bath, let's go into my favorite area, the bedroom.
So in here, we have 3 over the bed bins, as you can see. And again, you'll see a lot of plastic tubs in here. These are heavier items that in this bin area, so as we're kind of distributing the weight evenly in the coach. And then we also changed out the mattress. It had the standard mattress that you would get in any motorhome. They're horrible. We had to find something that was not 9 inches or less thick, so it would slide underneath these here, because when the slide comes in, it slides right underneath here. So the search was on. I did find something, and I found it on Overstock. And Martin and I, oddly enough, love this mattress. Great purchase. So over here in all of these drawers here, we use these for, you know, socks, underwear, just smaller things that you need that you can't put in a closet. This closet here we use for all of our hanging items. And this closet here, I wanted some shelves. Martin built some shelves for stuff that I just wanted to fold and put in here. So when we got the coach, it had an older, much smaller TV, very outdated. So we upgraded it to this smart TV. It's, I believe, a 32-inch, very easy to see.
Okay, so going back into the master bath, this is the full bath. This is in the very back of the coach. And once again, you can see we changed these faucets to the brushed nickel. We have all of our drawers for cosmetics and personal items and toiletries. Up here we have 3 cabinets for towels, toilet paper, and whatever. I did not, as you can see, update or paint this one. We decided to leave this one factory. In the shower, however, if you remember when I was on the roof, I showed you how I painted the part of the skylight. And this is the skylight here. And you can see how I can just unsnap this area. We had this made when we had our sunscreens made for the front of the coach. So in the summer months when it's hot and you get this beating sun through here, in addition we can just put up the shade and that blocks out the hot sun coming in here to the shower area. It really helps a lot. Between that and what I painted up there, keeps a lot of heat coming into the back of the coach. We installed a 3-cylinder shampoo, conditioner, and shower body wash thing that makes it really convenient so we don't have any bottles rattling around or a place to put them. We came in here and we redid the whole bottom seal all around the tub and recaulked all that, dug out all the old, put in the new. And when we came in, when we started, we love the shower, by the way. It's very big. This is probably the biggest shower that Winnebago makes. I'm 6'3". I fit in here fine, and it's a great place to shower. But when you shower and you condition your hair, that floor ended up being pretty slippery. So I ended up finding these non-skid application decal things. I actually bought them at Walmart. They came in a pack of 20. I bought 2 packs and put those down in a design around that floor, and no more sliding. And one big thing is Joni and I both have long hair, and when we get through showering, this screen, I installed this screen to catch all the hair so it doesn't go into our holding tank, get caught around the valves, the dump valves and all that. And I'm going to tell you, that was probably one of the best things I've ever done. We've put them in the shower and we've put them in all of the sinks so no hair gets down and clogs up the holding tanks and especially the valves themselves. A lot of people struggle with where to store all their shoes, and we also were wondering that question. And here's how we resolved it. Underneath our bed, we found a rack at Walmart that we were able to assemble, and it keeps all of our shoes nicely and tucked up underneath the bed when the slide is open. A couple of other really important things I wanted to point out is its capacities. It has an 80-gallon gas tank, and whether we are towing or not, and it doesn't matter whether the terrain, what kind of terrain we are on, we now have about a year and a half, 18 months of sampling, and we get consistently 7.5 miles per gallon. It also has an 80-gallon freshwater tank. It's 35 feet 3 inches long, 12 foot 5 inches tall. The half bath has a 21-gallon black tank. The full bath has a 41-gallon black tank, and the gray tank is a 51-gallon. The big thing when looking to buy a coach for traveling and full timing is how much CCC do you have, cargo carrying capacity. Another one of the really nice things we love about our coach is that it has 4,400 pounds of CCC. So what that means is all the people, pets, gas, water, propane, clothes, and all the gear we want to take with us can be up to 4,400 pounds. That's a lot of CCC. We've seen some DPs that don't even have that much. So don't be fooled that just because it's a diesel pusher, it means it can carry a lot of stuff. We met a guy in a park about a year ago, and he had a DP, and he only had 800 pounds of CCC. He didn't know about cargo carrying capacity when he bought the rig, and he was really disappointed. He and his wife were quickly coming to the conclusion that they had to get a different coach. Our coach is also on a 228-inch chassis with 22.5-inch tires and has a total GVWR of 22K. So when we're all fully loaded with a full tank of gas, third tank of fresh water, full propane tank, and all of our stuff, which is quite a bit, believe me, we're running at about 21,200 pounds or so. That calculates to about 800 pounds under the maximum weight she can carry. I know this wasn't very exciting. I covered a lot in this three-part series, but I thought that this would give you some really good things to think about, maybe some ideas, some things to check, and maybe even if you haven't bought an RV yet, some things to consider before you go and buy one or go full-time so you can be really prepared. I can tell you all this work that we did has really paid off and has made this first year, well, actually we've been in the motorhome 2 years, but this last year, going on a year and a half of traveling, it's been pretty much seamless. The coach has operated great. Oh, if you like this video, come on guys, or this series, give me a like. Hit that like button or subscribe. Joni and I would really appreciate it. It helps our channel. That's it for now. This is RV Street. Stick around.